Hello, Fat Grandma here. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Paula. I have a very small eBay store and I occasionally sell on Poshmark. This video is not a typical one. I normally do them on Sundays or Mondays, occasionally Tuesday if I'm having issues. But I wanted to do a video to recap my first year of reselling the second time around. I used to sell on eBay back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and working and got a divorce and other things happened, and I quit. So I started up again last year in March, and I thought I would share with you guys my best sales from last year, from the past year up until now. And these won't necessarily be extremely high dollar sales. They will just be items that may have sold for a high dollar amount, or items that sold quickly and for a decent amount of money. Things that, there's a quick turnaround, or they sell faster. They don't sit on the shelf for months like some of my stuff does. I tend to pick up things that can break. I don't. I have problems with that. So, you know, a lot of my stuff is a replacement dish or a collectible or something that's just weird. Occasionally I'll find a coffee mug that is bizarre or strange or whatever, unique, whatever you want to call it, and I'll pick it up and they eventually sell. It just takes another weirdo like me to come along and buy the thing. So, won't be sharing any of those, but I just wanted to, and I've recorded this video once already, but it ended up being an hour. So I'm going to try to go through my sales without too much storytelling, because that's what was happening. I was giving you guys the backstory on each thing, and it just going to try not to do that. I'm sure I will, but I will try to keep it short. So, and I'll give you guys a ballpark of what month the things sold in, and just going to try to make it quicker. So, I don't know if there was any other. Oh, I have had. If you guys have watched any of my previous videos, you know that sales have been weird and slow and very small, and there's an issue with the search on eBay not working like it's supposed to. Some words are showing up, some words aren't. It's, you search a word and you've got items in your store and they don't show up, So that's been going on, and I felt like there was something else going on. So I did something in my store, and I'm running a 5% sale. So, but I ran a 10% sale for most of last month, and it didn't really generate a lot of activity. And this month I'm running a 5% sale, and I know that's not what's doing this. I'll go into all of it on Sunday when I do my weekly video. But I just wanted to let you guys know the thing I did may have worked. I don't know, maybe it's a fluke, but I've had 9 sales this week already, and it's Wednesday, and that's weird for me. Most of my sales tend to come in toward the end of the week or over the weekend, and so things are different. But I'm going to wait and see how it goes the rest of the week, and I'll let you guys know on Sunday, and then I want to give it a couple of weeks to see if that keeps up, because maybe the thing that I did kind of generated all of the activity. For me, this is a lot of sales for me to get by a Wednesday. Normally that's a whole week for me. So, and that's since Sunday, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so, these 2 items that I'm going to show you guys, and I'll put pictures up here in the corner like I normally do. I picked these 2 small, they were like 3-inch tall vases. They had either Chinese or Japanese, I can't remember, and I'm not looking at a photo of the bottom of the image. I think it's China that they were made in, but I listed them. They sold together, and I made $90 off of these two little vases. So, you know, use Google Lens, and if you see little things like this, check them and see if they look like anything else that has sold on eBay. And, you can always start higher and then drop the price if you need to. Now, I've got another one that's still listed that I bought or that I found when I found these two, and it has not sold. So there was something different about these two. I don't know anything about Asian art. I have no clue. I just got lucky with these two vases. And again, they were very small. So, just keep an eye out. They were hand painted, you could tell. It was good. It was a good sale. And that was the end of my first month of reselling that I sold those. So it was really good for a beginner. Let's see. In April, I had two other pretty decent sales. One of them was a Budweiser, it was Anheuser Budweiser miniature pewter Clydesdale hitch figurines. And it was on a wooden base, and it was very detailed. These little, all the horses, the reins that ran through the horses was a piece of wire, went up to the driver, and you could see it was very, very detailed. Anyway, the wood was kind of beat up on it, though. Whoever had owned it didn't take care of it. I got it in an auction, and it still sold for $50. So, and I think I paid maybe $10 for it in the auction. Might have been less. If I have amounts that I paid for things, I'll put them up on the screen. If you don't see it, I couldn't find it. So the next item that sold in April was an Ainsley Clipper Ship teacup and saucer. And I got a whole bunch of saucers. One of the thrift stores that I go to, I happened to walk in. They'd just gotten some donations, and it's a small boutique kind of thrift store. There was a box sitting there, and it had a bunch of teacups and saucers in it, and I asked how much they were, and she said, $4 a piece for each set, each teacup and saucer. So I bought almost everything that was in the box, and this clipper ship sold for $420. And that was my second month of reselling. I had that sale. It was awesome. I was so excited. Very scary shipping it. I packed this thing, and it was going through one of those third-party shipper kind of places because it was going overseas. I have my settings such that I don't ship international. I just not going into that yet. I've seen too many stories, about scams and all kinds of other stuff. So I just don't even want to deal with it. Plus something like that, Anyway, apparently it made it, I never got feedback, but if it had been broken when it got there, I'm sure I'd have heard. So anyway, I think that's the best sale I had all year. As a matter of fact, I know it's the best sale I had all year. $4 into $420. Granted, there's eBay fees and all of that, but still, it was insane how much money I made on that teacup. This sale was in May, near the end of May. Not huge, but it was an ornament. It was a rare Hotel del Coronado Silver Bells 5 annual collector's ornament. And I don't remember what year was on the ornament, but again, you guys will see pictures. I picked it up at a thrift store. I paid at the most $5 for it. Their prices were a little high in this particular store. Sold the ornament for $55, and it's ugly. This is someone obviously who has a collection, and they were missing this particular ornament, so that's why they bought it, But again, there had been, I think I found one that had sold, and it was high dollar, so I just priced it up there, and it sold. So, and it didn't sit very long either. It was a quick sale. Let's see, June I sold another teacup and saucer. It was a Paragon Queen Coronation, and I sold it for $60. It was $59.99. And it was only listed for a couple months, so it didn't take very long. Let's see. And again, it was $4, and it sold for $60. So, The next item came from the same thrift store, that little boutique one. I happened to be in there again, and I was standing in line, and someone came in with some donations, and they wanted to show the store people, the clerks and stuff, what they were bringing in, and they started to open up this tapestry, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's got to be worth some money because the work on it was insane, and it wasn't finished. Like the edges weren't finished. It was, just had been rolled up and stored. You could tell they never mounted it anywhere. There were only a few beads missing on it, and anyway, I paid $100 for it, which I could have really bitten it on that one. But I took a risk, and because looking at it, I was just like, this thing has to be worth some money. It sold for $300. So I made my money back, and I made a nice chunk of profit too. So my intuition was right. It was kind of obvious to me anyway. It was obvious that this thing was worth spending the $100. I just knew I was going to make my money back. And if I'd broken even, that would have been fine too. But the fact that I actually made some profit was really awesome. So that was a good sale. Okay, so Wedgwood. I'm sure a lot of you have seen Wedgwood, and you see a ton of the blue and the green, and occasionally I think there's pink too. The black, at least when I bought these at the thrift store, was not very common. And there weren't a ton of them on eBay. And I found the whole set. So, anyway, it was these 4 black Wedgwood pieces and their playing card symbols, like the club and the heart and the diamond and the spade. I sold them, I paid $2 a piece for these, I believe, and I sold them for $50 for the set. So, not a bad purchase, probably just because they're uncommon or not as common that they sold for that much. And that was in August. And let's see, in September, I had 4 really decent sales. Not super high dollar. One of them was kind of, pricey, but, the others I made a decent amount of money on. And you wouldn't really think that it would be, on one of them anyway. The first one was an aluminum pipe ashtray. And I got this in an auction lot full of like smoking things, ashtrays, and there was a boot, an old cowboy boot with a lighter in the top of it. It was built for that. It wasn't a real cowboy boot, but it felt like leather. Anyway, I gave that to my daughter for her bathroom because she has a Western themed bathroom in Nebraska. So she got the boot lighter. But this ashtray was in there, and there was an artist name on this dog. And so I posted it on eBay, and because it came in that lot, the price on this was probably somewhere around $2 or $3 at the most, and it sold pretty quick, I think within a week or two, and it sold for $32, which for an ashtray, and I probably could have gotten more for it if I had been willing to hold out. I think they made me an offer, and I went ahead and took it, so it was a good sale though. The next item that was sold in September was an Ainsley St. Lawrence commemorative teacup and saucer. It had Queen Elizabeth down in the center of the teacup, and it sold for $69. And it was from that $4 bunch of teacups that I got. So I paid $4 for it and sold it for $69. Really good sale. Let's see, the next September one was a footed pickle caster. And this was, I think it was actually an antique. It was early 1900s. And it had all the pieces. It had the frame, it had the original jar, all of it had the lid. Everything was in really good condition. And it had the tongs that hang on the side of the jar. You'll see the photo. Anyway, I got this at an auction lot also. I believe I may have paid up for this, and the most I would have paid for it would have been like $15. Anyway, it sold for $60. And I think I had this listed for under a month. So not a bad purchase. This last one was the best sale that I had in September of this past year. And it was in with that smoking stuff, that lot full of smoking stuff. And it just, the auction people didn't know what it was. And they said it was an inkwell. And I got it, when I picked up all the stuff, I brought it home, used Google Lens, and I found it. And it had sold once already on eBay. It was actually a match holder. And the metal rim around the top is for striking the matches. So, and it was heavy. It was heavy. and it sold for $74.99. And I did not have this listed for much more than a week, I think. And again, it was probably a couple dollars invested in this if I broke it down piece by piece from that lot full of stuff that I got. So $75, for this one item. So if you see one of these, and again, they are quite hefty, it's just solid glass and, very intricate art, cut on the glass. And, but yeah, we're something. The next thing I sold, and this, we're getting into November now. And let's see, it was the Mason's Ironstone Vista. And I bought, again, an auction lot. It was just a box that was just full of stuff, and it was all the Ironstone Vista. There was a couple pieces that were a different maker, but it was still the red transferware kind of stuff. And the weird pieces, the unusual ones, like the plates and stuff will sell, but they can take longer. But this was a butter dish, and it sold for $55. And it wasn't listed too long, maybe 3 weeks at the most. I think it was less than that, but $55 for a butter dish. And I think I paid 15 for the whole lot, and I sold other pieces from it too. If you guys have watched my past videos, you would know, but the butter dish was one of the higher priced, more profit items that I sold from that lot. I still have quite a few pieces left, and I've already more than quadrupled my money that I paid for that lot. So everything's just profit now. I don't mind sitting on it for a while. Let's see, another November was a pair of Bear Paw Botis. I'm probably saying it wrong. Bowtie, I don't know. It's Boetis. They're fur look boots. And I saw these in an auction lot, and I thought, oh, geez, who wear? I don't know. I don't know who wears these, but they seemed to be worth money because I looked them up online. You used Google Lens. You look at the photo from the auction house, use Google Lens, and I found them, and they were going for a decent amount of money. Anyway, I sold them for $79, and I think I paid 5 or 10 for them. I would not have spent more than 15 on these. So again, if I find what I paid for them, I'll put it up here. But yeah, they sold in $80 basically, minus fees and all of that, but whatever. It was a really good sale. And they sold quick too. And it was around Christmas time, or Christmas was coming, so, that probably didn't hurt. Let's see. Something else that I found, if you can find Pier 1 or stores that have kind of gone out of business that used to be very popular. I don't know if the Pier 1 stuff, for whatever reason, seems to sell well. I found these two mugs at the Humane Society thrift store, and I looked them up on my phone while I was there, and it looked like they would sell for a decent amount of money. Wasn't a ton of money. I didn't make a buttload of money on these, but I think I paid $1 a piece for them, and I sold them for $19.95, and it didn't take very long. They sold fairly quick. I mean, less than 2 weeks, maybe. Yeah, it was less than 2 weeks for these. So $20 out of two. So you can pick that kind of stuff up if you find it and pay very little for it. And check your pictures, check eBay. I tend to use Google Lens because the eBay app, sometimes it will find the photo, but it'll find the item. But more often than not, I get like weird stuff that shows up, and I'm like, this doesn't even look anything like the thing that I took a picture of. So I use Google Lens to find out exactly what the thing is, and then I'll go into eBay's app and search for that item and search solds to see what the things are selling for. But that's just another thing where eBay doesn't work like it's supposed to. So I think we're all used to that. The next item, and there were actually 3 sets of these, 3 different sets. I had one set of, they're the Blakely Gas Cactus glasses. And there were pictures. They're Southwest Arizona native cactus. And there's 8 different glasses. 8 different cactus on the glasses, and there's 3 different types of glasses. There's a tumblers that are clear glass, and then there's small juice glasses that are frosted, and then there's some taller, like tea type glasses that are also frosted. And each glass has a different cactus on it. If you ever find a full set of 8 glasses and the pitcher, and you can get them for a decent price, grab them. They are not extremely common. You'll find individual glasses. There's a lot of them listed on eBay. They will sell too. You won't make as much money though. But if you have a full set and you have any of the trays that originally came with them, I sold one set for $240, and that was the tumbler glasses, the clear ones with the tray. Then I had another set, the juice glasses, which were just little juice glasses with a kind of a medium-sized pitcher. Pitcher did not have a handle. It had a plastic lid that, by the way, was in mint condition. There was no cracks in it or anything. These are from the 60s, these glasses and tumblers and stuff, the late 50s, early 60s. So anyway, the juice glasses in the small pitcher sold for $120. And I had another set that sold in January this year, but I'll get to that. So those were both in December, and I also sold in December, which was a good item if you happen to see them. There's Seattle Starbucks canister, and they happen to have 2 mugs with the canister that matched the canister. So I just listed them all together, and I sold all 3 items for $50. It was $49.99, and I think I paid at the most $10 for the lot in an auction. And there were other things in that lot that I could also sell. So this wasn't the only thing in that lot that got sold. So, it was a good purchase. Let's see what we've got for this year. And if you guys have been watching my videos recently, you'll have seen these things in my videos. There's a Patterns of Fashion books by, what is her name? Janet Arnold. And there's a few different books for different time periods. The one that I found, or the one that I got in an auction lot, it was in a tote with a bunch of other stuff. I couldn't really see it very good. I couldn't see the condition. This book was not in good shape. It had stains on the back page. It was warped from getting wet. I flattened it for a couple months before I listed it. But it still sold for $42.50, and I got an offer on it. I think I had it listed for $50. I don't remember, but anyway, I still got $42.50 out of it, and it was not in great shape. These, if you look at the solds, depending on the time period and if the people do an auction, they can sell for anywhere from $40 to over $100 just for this one book. So, and again, it's not this particular book. I mean, this book has sold for quite a bit in the past, but there's different time periods that the books cover, and they've got patterns and stuff in them, if you're making clothing for a specific time period or whatever. So I don't know if students are using these or buying them. I don't know, but they're worth some money if you happen to see one. And they're kind of big. They're, I don't know, maybe they're like the size of a legal piece of paper, but not exactly. I don't know if that makes any sense, or ledger size almost. They're big. The other Blakely glasses that I was telling you about, those cactus glasses, the other set that I had was the highball tea glasses, and it had a large pitcher. This set sold for $275. So if you happen to see a full set of these glasses, buy them if they're not too highly priced, because they're worth some money. You may find them if you, even not in Arizona, because people from Arizona, a lot of people have second homes, or they had second homes, and they could be in Wisconsin, they could be in Michigan, Illinois, back in the Midwest. We get the snowbirds out here. And so if those people were affluent, and they had another home, or if they ended up moving to the Midwest from Arizona, they may have taken them with them. You might find them in those states because a lot of our snowbirds are from the Midwest, the northern Midwest. So, you never know. If you happen to see them, and again, if it's a full set, grab them if they're not too expensive, because they do sell. I I listed these all three sets. I think, I don't know, it didn't even take a month before the first two sold. And then the third set, I just stuck at my price. I could have lowered it. Some people sent me offers, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. And I just wrote it out for a couple months, and they still sold for the full price. So they will sell. Another item that will sell, not super high dollar, not high dollar really at all, but if you find them, you can probably. I got these in an auction lot with a bunch of other stuff, but if you found these at a yard sale, I'm guessing they'd probably be like $1, maybe even less. I don't know, but they're the Coleman white enamel cups that you use for camping. I sold three of them for $26, and people have sold them for more. So, and they sold quick too. Like, I don't even think I had them listed for, might have been a week. I don't even know if it was a week, but they move pretty quick if if they're in good shape. These were in really, really good shape too. So, but $26, and I hardly paid anything for them. So it's pretty awesome. Another thing that sold, and this was in February. Oh, the cups, I sold those cups in February. Was a little Noel Christmas figurine. It was super skinny, made in Japan, was marked Japan on the bottom. And again, you guys may have seen the video where I showed this. It just said Noel. It's hand painted. They look like a piece of, I mean, when you first see them, you're like, what is this garbage? They don't look like anything. And this stupid thing sold for, but I sold mine for $32.40. They sell for more than that. But mine, the paint was missing on part of it, and I don't know if the time period when these were made is the thing that makes them worth some money. I'm guessing that's what it is. Somebody knows when these were made, and one got sold for a higher amount, and then everybody just, if you find one, I mean, if I found this was again in an auction lot, and it was in with a bunch of other stuff. I almost donated it because I didn't think it was going to really be worth anything, you know. So, but yeah, and they have them where they look like this one, but they're not the same. Like the deer is down and Santa is sitting different. And so there's a variations of the same ornament, but they all sell for pretty decent, over $30. So if you happen to see those. And then the last sale in February that was pretty good was a Build-A-Bear, and it was a coyote wolf dog looking thing. Found it at a Goodwill of all places. I think I paid around $3 for it, two something with my discount because it was senior day, and it sold for $45. So if you happen to see one of these, maybe snag it if it's a decent amount and it's in good shape. The one that I found was, you couldn't even tell had a bit, no one played with it. There were no tags on it, but yeah, it sold pretty quick too, within 2 weeks, I think. So, and I think that is it for the ones that I wanted to share and go over, whatever. So let's see, how long has this been? Ooh, I'm under 30 minutes. This is what I was shooting for the first time, and I totally blew up with an hour. So that is the recap of my, not necessarily my best sales, but things that sold quick or made a decent profit, or some did sell for super high dollar. And, I got very lucky. The things that you don't want to pick up are Boyd's Bears. Really, I'm sitting on a pile of Boyd's Bears figurines that are going to either get lotted up or donated, because I'm starting to get tired of them. They take up a lot of room because they're still in the boxes. And the other thing is, and this was just, beginners not knowing what the hell you're doing, I bid on a bunch of Hallmark ornaments. Now, there were good ones in the lots that I purchased, but I also have a bunch of ornaments that have the year on the ornament. Like there's the year that's on the ornament that you really don't see, that's, by the word Hallmark somewhere on the foot of whatever it is, or the bottom of the ornament, or whatever. You don't just notice that when you look at the ornament. And then there's the ornaments that say, Dad, whatever, and it has the year right on the front of the ornament. Unless someone's really hunting for that, no one's going to buy this thing. And I looked up a whole bunch of the ornaments that I got on eBay, and if they're $2 or $3 ornament, I'm not even going to bother. They're going to get redonated, or I'm going to throw them all in a box and lot them up, and stick them on eBay for a couple months. And if no one buys them, then they're going to get donated. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to use my box and use a box, use bubble wrap, use my tape and all the other stuff to make like $1. It's just, and all the time that goes into it, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So those may end up in the garbage, or not in the garbage, but Ixnay donated, whatever. So yeah, the two things that I would probably not look at again unless they were singular items that I could figure out exactly how much they're worth, because there are some Boyd's Bears items that are worth some money, but for the majority of them, just don't. The Hallmark ornaments, there's some collector ones, and some will sell for good money, but it's not a huge market. It's a good thing to have in my store, and I've got some in there that are, worth under $5, but they'll sell at some point. The other things that sell pretty good or have sold pretty good for me are small brass animals, like little brass things. As long as they're not extremely heavy, they'll sell pretty good. And embroidered linens, little, like tablecloths that have embroidery, if they're vintage, handkerchiefs, if they're embroidered, the little hankies. And they sit for a while, but they're not heavy. They're easy to ship. And if you don't mind having them just sit in your shop for a while, they're not a bad thing to pick up, because you can get linens for pretty cheap usually. I've gotten 2 lots at the auctions, that were like an entire tote full of old vintage linens, and the majority of the stuff is sellable. I just haven't listed it yet. For like $10, and it's a whole tote full of stuff. So the majority of the stuff will get sold, just not while I'm living here, because I don't really have a place to take photos of big things. So, they'll get listed, just not yet. But those are the things that I have sold. Some linens, and they've done well, and I've made decent money on them. It just takes a little bit of time. And again, they're easy to ship. You throw them in a poly bag and off they go. So simple, and they can be heavy, but if it's handkerchiefs or some napkins, they're not super heavy, and again, they're easy to ship. So I think that about wraps it up, for my first year of doing eBay, and I haven't. I could not exist on what I make. For the first year, I have spent more time doing research and learning than I have listing and selling. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm listing things. A lot of the stuff that I sell is stuff that is going to take a very specific buyer looking for a specific item. And so the stuff that I have typically will take longer to sell. It's not going to sell right away. Some of it will, but a lot of the things that I have in my store are going to sit, and it's just going to be a specific person looking for it. And I'll pick up things along the way, like those Coleman mugs, coffee cups. I didn't make a ton of money on them, but it was a quick turnaround, and they didn't cost me much, and they sold pretty quick, and I made a decent amount of profit on them, stuff like that. So, and again, it's not a full-time job for me. It's just it's not really a hobby either, because I need to make money doing this to supplement my lame Social Security that I'm getting because I took it early. But, for my first year, I think I'm doing okay. I've had enough profit that I've been able to do things like buy a camera to go out and use, which I still have to become an expert on using my camera, because I'm not aiming it right. So I have to play with that some more. But, bought my camera. I, keep loading up on supplies, and, it's just going to take time. It's not a hobby, but it's not a full-time job. So, but I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a ton of things about different merchandise that's out there, and I watch videos all the time, other sellers, just gleaning tidbits and information and knowledge as much as I can, trying to absorb. So, anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you on Sunday or Monday with my Souls video. Bye.